Viridian, The Green Guide. Written by Clouds. Read by Distracted by Books. Chapter 36. Berserk. Are you sure? Tsukauchi gripped the test results so tightly that the paper wrinkled. There was absolutely no trigger in his system when he was brought in? We checked 3 times, one of the doctors confirmed, adjusting her glasses. And even if there had been, it would have long since metabolized by now. If he was like the other next-level villains you've brought in before, he would have calmed down shortly after he was brought in. Whatever made him like this, it wasn't just trigger. Shota looked through the glass of the cell at who used to be Jun Hamasaki. The doctors were right. He had worked with next-level villains before, and aside from a few unfortunate cosmetic changes, once the trigger was out of their system, they returned to who they had been before. But Hamasaki? It had been days, and the uncontrollable rage he had displayed when he was arrested had only grown worse. It was going to make him extremely difficult to interrogate, which was why they had been waiting for the effects of the drugs to wear off, like they always had in the past. But difficult or not, they had to try, if for no other reason than to make sure the monsters who did this to him were brought to justice. There's something else, the doctor said. With the police department's permission, we were able to run a whole slew of tests to try and figure out what those people did to his body. The physical changes are similar to what we've seen from the villain factory before, but the brain scans... She trailed off, and Shota turned to the team of doctors, gesturing for them to continue. After a moment, one of the other doctors continued where the first had left off. The only area in his brain that was functioning at anywhere near a normal level was the amygdala, the area that is responsible for emotions, such as fear and anger. It's no wonder that he tore up the city the way he did, considering that it's almost as if his brain has been rewired to optimize rage. When I arrived at the scene, Tensei said Hamasaki had gone completely berserk. Shota said, "We thought there'd been some sort of trigger, but you think that was biological?" The head doctor nodded, "Almost definitely. The other areas of his brain have started to atrophy at a much higher rate than we'd normally expect, almost as if his body is attacking itself. Right now, the only conscious thoughts he can even process are those that are boosted by his anger. But from the way his brain is decaying, even those might disappear in the coming weeks." "Then there's no point in waiting any longer," Tsukauchi said with finality. "If we want to have any chance at getting any information out of him, it's going to have to be now." The doctors looked hesitant, and honestly, Shota felt the same way. Hamasaki may have been restrained and mildly sedated, but they were in uncharted territory when it came to his body and quirk. Whatever the villain factory had done to him, it had made him stronger than he had any right to be, which made him unpredictable, which was more dangerous than ever because of his uncontrollable rage. But Tsukauchi was right. It would be entirely illogical to wait any longer to interrogate him. He wouldn't get any less angry if they waited, and they might miss their chance if his brain atrophied any further. That didn't mean it was safe, or that Shota had to like it. Tsukauchi gestured for the doctors to open the door, and Shota followed him inside. The moment Hamasaki caught sight of them, he started fighting against his restraints, practically growling as he lunged at them. This was why he didn't understand why some of his students enjoyed horror movies so much. Real life was so much scarier. "Jun Hamasaki. My name is Detective Tsukauchi, and this is the pro hero Eraserhead," Tsukauchi said, feigning calmness and hiding the slight tremor in his voice behind a thick layer of professionalism. "We've met before. My quirk, lie detector, will be active during the course of this interview." "Die!" Well, at least he was still capable of coherent speech, though Shota wished his first understandable words had been something a little more useful. "Do you know who did this to you?" Hamasaki growled, "Kill! Kill everyone. Tsukauchi wrote something down. Did they threaten to kill you? Kill! Hamasaki lunged at them again. Kill! Destroy! Everything hurt me. I hurt everything. Everything? Why didn't he say everyone? If it were Shota, he would want to hurt everyone who hurt him. But attacking everything went beyond simple revenge, didn't it? He glanced at Tsukauchi, who looked equally confused. Shota thought for a moment, watching the way that Hamasaki fought against the restraints. When the next level villains recovered, none of them remembered the experimentation. The leading theory was that it was the trauma, but the next one was that the villain factory had someone with a memory modification quirk. If Hamasaki couldn't remember who it was that hurt him, he might lash out at everything, or they might have conditioned him to turn his anger to other targets. Did they tell you to be angry at the world? Shota asked, did the people you were with make you believe that it was everyone else that hurt you, not them? Everything hurt me! Hamasaki yelled. Sensei said so! Sensei don't lie! Tsukauchi scribbled something else. Sensei, that's the one who hurt you? Do you know his name? Hamasaki shook. Sensei, help me! Kill you! Shota glared him down. Who is Sensei? Kill! Hamasaki lunged again, and Tsukauchi and Shota had to take a step back, as one of his wrist restraints finally snapped under the continuous pressure. He continued struggling, apparently too far gone to think to use his free hand to undo the other bonds. But Shota didn't want to be around by the time he figured that out. Get out of there! The head doctor slammed the door open and gestured for them as she yelled to her team. Prep the air filtration system for a tranquilizer. Shota and Tsukauchi ran from the room, and the head doctor locked the door behind him. Shota looked through the window just in time to see a cloudy gas flood the room. Hamasaki fought even harder, managing to snap another restraint before the tranquilizer took effect. His fighting grew weaker for a few minutes before he finally slumped down in the bed, unconscious, prompting everyone outside to breathe a sigh of relief. Sensei, do you think that's the symbol of evil that he mentioned before he disappeared from custody? Shota asked. Tsukauchi swallowed. I don't know. But why would he be so loyal to the person who hurt him? The pain of being experimented on, combined with whatever memory eraser they used, would have made him extremely suggestible. Shota said, they've effectively brainwashed him into being loyal to them. Tsukauchi gave a frustrated sigh, which makes things even more complicated, doesn't it? They were interrupted as Tsukauchi's phone rang. He took one look at the caller ID and answered, Hello, Chief Tsuragami. You're on speaker with me and Eraserhead. How are things going with that next-level villain that Ingenium apprehended? The chief asked. Have you gotten any useful information from him? Woof. Tsukauchi and Shota shared a look. It might have just been a theory, but Viridian had been right when he said that the villain factory might be moving on to the next phase of their experiments, because Hamasaki was definitely not an instant villain. Not much, Tsukauchi said finally. He mentioned a person named Sensei, but Eraserhead believes he's been brainwashed into being loyal to him. Most of what he said were just threats. He's not back to normal? Oof. Tsuragami asked. It's been days. Shouldn't the trigger be out of his system by now like it was with the others? That's the problem. He's not like the others. Shota sighed. Hamasaki represents the next phase of the villain factory's experimentation. He's not a next-level villain, and according to the doctors, he most likely won't be recovering like they did. There was a long beat of silence on the other end as Tsuragami processed the new information. Woof. If he's not a next-level villain, then what is he? Shota looked at Tsukauchi. They needed some name for this next evolution because Shota wasn't naive enough to think that there wouldn't be others. But what to call them? This next phase was defined by the sheer amount of rage and anger they displayed. So, something with that? Like Ingenium had said, Hamasaki had gone completely berserk from the experiments. He's something else entirely, Shota said finally. He's a berserker. End of chapter.